Equalsexes has been getting a lot of grief from people recently. It's mostly because he can't explain himself very well, and he just keeps repeating the same thing over and over. But I don't think his viewpoint is entirely wrong. As a matter of fact, partially, I at least agree with it. If you know gay people like I do, then you would know that they don't treat women the same as they do other men. And all in the name of love, like Equalsexes says. Of course, there are fag hags, and I mean the gays like them, but not the same way they like the men. And it's the same way with lesbians. I mean, they definitely don't treat the men the same way they treat other women. A lot of times they say, "Ooh, dirty men," and the gays say, "Yuck, women." So I think, it's certainly not an equal treatment. You might say that, the men love the men and the women love the women. It's maybe symmetrical, but certainly the people individually don't treat the other sex as equals. Unfortunately, Equalsexes doesn't seem to realize that the straight people have exactly the same problem. The straight men do not treat the other men the way that they treat the women. And you may say it's symmetrical because the women love the men back. But the women don't treat other women the same way they do the men. And certainly for the other men, there's so much homophobia going around, it's certainly not equal. I think Equalsexes at least ought to complain about the homophobia as much as, or even more than the gays. Because there are a lot of gays that are bisexual. So what's the solution? Well, you can't have the men loving the men without also loving the women. So if you have a relationship, say a straight one, and then we can add a man. So now the man loves a man and a woman at the same time. But that's not equal, because now the woman loves two men, and the men only loves one man. So we have to add two more women. Oh no, well of course that's going to get all out of control. So we're going to have to do something special. What we're going to have to do, here is a diagram. We've got two men and two women. And you see that the men love the men, and the woman loves one woman each, and the women love each other. Now each person is loving two people of the opposite sex equally. And so there's the solution. We're going to have couples that are in groups of 4. And of course, if they get tired, they can switch around like this. And I think we can actually even have a 5th person, although I haven't worked out the math exactly right. You can certainly have another couple that can join and leave. Or maybe 2 of the original 2 people could leave and have another group take their place. I'm not exactly sure how big of a group this could be. You would have to work out to make sure that everybody was treated equally. So I think this is a reasonable solution to the problem of the unequal treatment of the sexes. So if you're straight or if you're gay, then you're not treating the other sex equally. You pretty much have to be bi. So I think everybody listening to this, certainly all the atheists, they don't dislike homosexuals. But I think all the Christians are probably going to have a little difficulty. But that's the way it goes. They don't treat people of other religions equally. So I think we're just going to have to convince them to all be bisexuals. So hopefully I've cleared up Equalsexes' case a little bit, so maybe he won't be getting too much grief from other people. All right. What's the problem with animals now? We don't treat them equally.